Hey everybody, welcome to Astrology and Coffee. We're so excited to be here. Just a reminder, make sure you grab your birth chart. We usually suggest using astro.com is a great place to find your birth chart. Um, and get ready to listen, learn about the element of air, and we're also going to be answering questions at the end. So if you're looking at your chart and something just doesn't quite make sense to you, that's absolutely fine. We're here. We want to answer questions. So if you post in the chat that you have a question or anything, let us know, and we'll save those and get to them at the end. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and roll our intro. Awesome. So I am Megan from the Academy of Logic and Light, and we are a peer-to-peer teaching platform. We're looking to raise our community up and help people just learn the healing arts and magic and all of the things that make us feel good. So that's what we're here to do. If you're interested in joining us as a teacher or as learning or to learn, please do. You can follow us on Facebook, as well as Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all under the Academy of Logic and Light. We also have a Facebook group if you're interested in getting involved more with the school, as well as a Patreon. So if you're really interested or you really like what we're doing, we offer bonus content on Patreon, as well as it just supports us, helps us do more fun things like this and get more involved with the community. Also, yeah, I think that's everything. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn the time over to our teachers today, Julie and Elle, who are helping us with Astrology and Coffee. So thank you so much, and I'll turn the time over to you.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you. Hey, guys.
Good morning. We made it.
We made it. Hopefully everybody
is having one.
I know. Look at us go.
Look at us go.
We're doing all the things. Well, hopefully everyone's having a wonderful Tuesday. Sorry, I have a baby that's going to pipe in. She has things to say.
Of course she does. It's air signs.
I know. She's like, I have all the things. So like she mentioned, today we're going to talk about the element of air, which is going to be good for today because we're going to need to kind of flow because my baby is a little cranky. So we might have to just be a little more flexible than usual. But for anyone who doesn't know a lot about the element of air, obviously it has no shape. It kind of takes shape to whatever surroundings that it's filling at that time, which is kind of like an air sign. Air signs are very, we fluctuate. They tend to, go with the flow. They're kind of the easiest of all the elements. They're just kind of like, no, you want to do this? That's fine. Or we can do that. I don't care. I mean, if you've ever had a Libra friend, you know that they can't make up their mind to save their lives. So they're fine with whatever you want to do because they can't choose.
They're probably just happy with everything too, though.
Yeah, they're fine. You want to go to the park? Let's go to the park. You want to go to a cemetery? Cool. I like cemeteries. Like, there's just it's so flowy. It's ridiculous. But the air element also represents like freedom. So they're very expressive. They like to just be free, be open. Like they're open to different ideas and change, and it doesn't bother them to abruptly change. They kind of like shift with that. So that's kind of just the element of air and how it moves and just in general. But we do have the 3 signs that are air signs. We have Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. So I'm going to start with Gemini. First, I'll say that all of the air signs, they think with their minds more than their heart, typically. Now, if I say this and you're like, well, I'm a Gemini and all I do is feel, we should probably look into your chart and see what else is in there that could be indicating that there could be a lot of water, there could be, you know, some fire, just different things that may cause feelings versus thinking. But they are very intellectual, they're clever, they communicate a lot. They're probably the talkers. I'm an air sign, so I'm always like rambling. It's probably good that I'm, you know, mostly talking in this because it's just part of my makeup. One of the other aspects of air is that it can be really fun, but they can go cold really fast. Again, they're thinkers, and so feeling sometimes, especially like in situations where it might be heated conversations, they may just turn cold. Like there's no emotion, there's no expression. It's just kind of like, okay, and they're done. And they truly are done because we're thinkers, not fillers. So, but to go into the first of the air signs, Gemini, ruled by Mercury, lots of communication. They're witty, they're fast. I don't know a Gemini that can't like come up with something like a rebuttal so fast. They're like so quick with it. I'm just like, damn. That would take me like 3 days to think of that. And then I'd have to come back to the argument and be like, wait, I didn't say this. This wasn't good enough. But Geminis, they're on it. They have that thing. And that's the influence of Mercury, because Mercury is all about communication and connections and technology. A lot of Geminis are great with technology. So that's kind of
very intelligent. Very intelligent.
Yeah, it's good to have. I have a husband that's a Gemini, and he's my IT guy. I'm like, hey, this isn't doing a thing. How do I do this? And he's like, oh my gosh.
It's not doing
Two fingers will move the screen. I had no idea. It's a MacBook. Fast thinkers. There is also this thing with Gemini that's like good twin, bad twin, right? They're very sweet. They're kind. I love a Gemini, but man, when the bad twin comes out to play, can be scary. Have you ever had a friend, Julie, that's like, especially Gemini women? I feel like Gemini women, their tongues are so sharp. Like when they are mad and they want to hurt you, they're not going to physically hurt you. They are going to hurt your feelings so hard with what they have to say.
Deep.
Every time.
Yeah, very deep. And that's why people are usually, Geminis get such a bad rap for having like twin personalities, but it's just really like the upper and the lower part of you have dualities always, but for Gemini, they're a lot more apparent, to say the least. And also because they are saying such harsh truths, I think, they get a pretty bad rap, but they're highly intelligent, at least in my experience. Everyone that I've met that has any Gemini in their chart, chatty, witty.
Yeah, they're fun. They're a good time. A lot of times they're like the life of the party, which is so fun to have. And their energy, they bring an energy to a room that's very just fun and childlike. I mean, they have this like, they'd never grow up. Like, I swear Peter Pan had to have been a Gemini.
I kind of like that theory, actually.
Yeah, because they're very childlike, and they have this sense of adventure. And they're a lot like their polarity, the Sagittarius, the opposite end of the zodiac for them. But they're also like they just have this forever wanting to learn. But I just don't feel like it's to the degree of a Sagittarius. Like Sagittarius are more philosophers. These are like, oh, what kind of trouble is going on here? Let's see if we can get into it. Let's find out. Like it's lighter. It's more innocent, in a sense. So. I do find that a lot of Geminis struggle with like ADD, not really paying attention. It's just their minds are so fast that they see something and then they're on to the next thing. It's hard to stay in that one thing for too long, because then their mind is like, oh, well, there's something going on over here. There's something over there. Oh, now I've totally changed my mind and I think this looks more fun. Like that's just kind of their personality.
Scattered. Yeah.
So I find that a lot of them have a hard time focusing. They typically are positive people. They see the glass half full kind of perspective, which is, again, good to have. In my opinion, I like to have positive people that can communicate and talk. So I'm always down for a good Gemini friend.
Me too.
And then let's look at in the chart. If you have Gemini in your chart, you may see some areas that it really, really thrives in, and there's some areas that it's a little more challenging. You have to, evolve through some things. I will say a Gemini sun is pretty much what I describe: someone fun, outgoing, A Gemini moon is a little more challenging. Like I said earlier, Geminis, air signs in general, we are not big feelers, we're thinkers. So when you have a Gemini moon in an area, the moon represents emotions and how you feel and how you handle things emotionally and internally yourself. So when you have a sign in like Gemini who doesn't like to feel, it's kind of conflicting. It's kind of like, oh, I should feel this way, but it doesn't. There's kind of like this nervousness there. Like it's unnatural. They have to evolve and learn how to embrace having that Gemini moon, because I do know a lot of Gemini moons that struggle with anxiety and just very anxious, like just in general, like everything is like, oh, so not my favorite placement for the moon, but definitely something you can look inward and kind of be like, I do that. How do I evolve out of this characteristic? So that's kind of something to work on. Gemini and Mercury, perfect. You probably can snap back quicker than anyone because Mercury is all about communication and Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So it's kind of like its home place. Like it feels good there, like you flow. And so a Gemini Venus, I don't know. For a Venus that's in Aquarius, that's perfect. For like a Venus that's in an earth sign, typically doesn't work. They're too free. They're too in relationship wise, because Venus is that relationship sector, right? Like it's where your values are in a relationship. And Geminis, they're kind of flighty and they're indecisive. So I don't know if that would work really well for someone who had like an earth Venus, or if you had a water Venus, you kind of need that more depth there. Air signs are lighter, especially Gemini. We're lighter. There's depth, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's as deep as like a Scorpio feels. I know that me personally, I'm a Libra, I do not feel like water signs feel. They feel so much and I'm like, man, what that must be like. I have no idea. But
Thank you.
yeah, like I don't know. I don't have that thing.
What about a rising Gemini?
Rising Gemini, outgoing, fun, childlike. You know, they see the world as a playground. That's like the best way to describe a Gemini rising. The world is your playground.
I like that.
Yeah, so it's a good placement. It's fun. It's light. I have I'm trying to think. I have a father-in-law and a brother-in-law. I believe both of them are Gemini, and they're both Capricorn and Virgo. And so they're very earthy sun signs, but their Gemini rising kind of gives them like a lighter aspect to their chart. They do come off earthy, but there's also this lightness to them that's like, okay, like they're fun. They like to have fun. Like they see them with the kids and stuff. So it's very interesting when you look at the whole dynamics of the chart. But that's just a little information on Gemini. And if you have questions at the end, if you have Gemini in your chart somewhere, just let me know. We can kind of go over it quickly. And then we'll do that at the end. The next air sign that we have is Libra. I'm a Libra. Libra suns. I really feel like we are like the sweethearts of the zodiac.
Yeah.
Like we're tactful. We want things to be fair. We have the scales. Libra is the only sign of the zodiac that doesn't have some sort of animalistic or human part of their makeup. Everything has like an animal or a human, right? And it feels and it's alive. This is a tangible, cold piece of steel balancing good and bad. So I think I see this a lot with Libras. There's kind of a detachment with people. Like they are connected to people and they're very loving, but they're also, I know myself personally, I have a lot of friends that are like, you have friends and you see them and then you don't see them for years and then you see them. Like I don't have a huge attachment to people and things. And I feel like a lot of my Libra girlfriends are kind of the same way. We're very detached. There's not that animalistic like thing there, and that the human, like there's just something very separate with us. Like I can detach so fast. And I know that's an air sign quality, but I feel like Libra kind of has a different way about it, which most people I feel like don't really recognize. Would you say that any of your Libra?
Yeah, I'm a Libra moon, but at a 0 degrees. So it's still like a newer energy for me.
Yeah. But maybe like you can detach your emotions really easily.
Yeah, I actually just really associated that with the Capricorn part of me, and like
I was gonna say that
Mars
could also be
Aquarius.
like a Capricorn trait,
Yeah, I'm
but
like
it's also
very.
like, but I feel like even Capricorn, like even when you detach from people, I feel like there's like this sense of like missing them or something. I don't know. I just feel like Libra's a little different. There's just something there that kind of speaks of that element not having a heartbeat. Not that Libras don't have heart, because we are very sweethearts, but
Very.
just this connection is a little different, I would say. Libra's ruled by Venus, so the planet of beauty, and Libras do like nice things. They like the aesthetics of things. I literally show up every week in a different color shirt because I feel like it goes with the element that we're talking about. So I do like the aesthetics of things.
I love
So
watching a Libra outfit change. Like every time,
mhm,
the Libra outfits are so good. The hair's always
yes.
on point. Like
Wow.
love watching the Libras.
Yes. They they do like to express themselves. We're very expressive. I'm a
Yeah.
Libra sun with a Sagittarius rising, so I'm very expressive. I talk with my hands. I get excited. I have to like bring it down sometimes. Libra is a cardinal sign, so it is the starter. Oh, and just to kind of go back to the Gemini being a mutable sign, sorry, I missed this. They are very flexible. So mutable, they're transforming into a different season, right? So they're flexible, they're forever changing. They adapt really well when things change. Libra is the one that starts things. We're the cardinal, we're the starter. We're like, okay, let's get this plan in motion. This beginning of fall, let's do this. Like that's kind of like what that represents and how it shows up. And so anytime you have Libra or any cardinal sign in your chart, and depending on where it is in your chart, it can say that you're a self-starter, or it could be the opposite, that you lack you're probably a procrastinator. Like there's things in your chart that can show that. So Libra things that I would say probably one of the most like the biggest characteristic of a Libra is they're diplomatic. They're fair. They're all about relationships. This is a sign of relationships. We like to be in relationships. I'm a relationship person. I don't stay single for long because I don't think I know how. It's not in my genetic makeup. I blame that on my Libra sun and my Taurus moon because I'm like
Yeah.
homey. I got that thing.
Okay.
So like I said earlier, making a decision to save your life if you're a Libra and you can never decide what to wear, which outfit's going to be better, that's fine. You're going to have to give yourself some grace because that's who you are. You can work on it, you can evolve out of it, or you can just accept that decisions are not your strong point. I've accepted it. I let other people make the decisions. I'm the go with the flow friend, and I'm fine with that.
Leave it to your Capricorns to be in charge.
Yes. You wanna do whatever? I'm down for whatever. Super easy. All right. Now let's go into some of the areas of your chart where Libra shines and where Libra might be a little more challenging. The Libra sun, graceful. We are, we care about our appearance. We care about our outfits. We care about kind of what people think. Unfortunately, that's something that we have to evolve out of because we are people pleasers at heart. We want to make people happy. We like to see people happy. And sometimes it's even at our own, we sacrifice ourselves. Yeah, not as hard as Gemini or Aquarius. I'll go into Aquarius moons when we hit Aquarius, but I still feel like it's kind of a placement that might be a little more challenging. I see it with some of my other Libra friends that have just like a Pisces sun, Libra moon. They're very, well, first off, that's a whole nother time. Making decisions with that pairing is definitely a challenge, but they just are very kind-hearted. I think Libra moons typically can be sensitive. It also depends on which house they're in. Yours is at a 0 degree, so yours is just learning. You with time will probably evolve more into those characteristics that I just explained, like feeling, more sensitive to it. Maybe as you get older. Let's see. I'm gonna start studying you. You'll be one of my studies. She used to be this, and now she's this. But
well, my true note is also in Cancer, so it is like my duty to learn about feelings.
Yes, the mother. You're going to be a mother of something one day. Children, animals, who knows?
A baby mother, yes.
I love that. Yeah, Cancer North Node. It's time to tune into those family matters. But
Mhm.
so Libra in Mercury, I have my Libra in Mercury. I speak very, this podcast sometimes is a little nerve-wracking, so disregard this, but I typically speak with such like care of others. Like if I'm trying to tell someone something that I feel like might hurt their feelings, I try to do it in a way that's very tactful. My Aries sister would say it's manipulative, but I say it's just an easier way of like delivering a message that could be hurtful. I don't want to hurt people. I want it to be kind, and I want it to be where they take it and they take it like in a positive way. I've literally fired people and they have thanked me at the end of it. Like that's
Wow.
how I try to deliver, like, you were a great person. You're just not great at this job, and that's okay. There's something better out there for you. You know, that kind of like inspiring, kind, tactful
I love that.
deliverance. Yeah.
We
So
all need that.
yes, that's my Libra Mercury. A Libra Venus, very, loving, very relationship oriented, probably bends over backwards for their partners. That's what I would see in a Libra Venus. A Libra Mars, maybe not as action oriented as other placements. Libra's kind of chill. We'll get to it when we get to it. We're not jumping up to like the first one to jump up for something. We're kind of like a little slower.
Mhm.
Libra rising people, I would say very stylish, kind, sweethearts, just people that are genuinely good and positive. Some things they have to evolve out of is making decisions, people pleasing. Like that could be two things that can be very annoying. I have a girlfriend who's a Scorpio, and I'm very go with the flow. And she is very, if you say you're going to be somewhere, you better be there on time. That's just her personality. And there's been times in our friendship that we've both had to learn, like, we are different and we have to respect. We have to meet in the middle. I try to show up on time, and she has to be a little more lenient with the fact that I may be late, or I went to the wrong spot first, or, like there has to be some flexibility there. And we both have learned that. So be patient with your Libra friends. We're trying. Okay.
They're trying.
We're trying. So, and then, Libra, Venus, something else to point out in that is a very good placement to have because Libra is ruled by Venus. So anytime your sign is in the planet that it's ruled by, it magnifies it and it makes it so good and such a good aspect to have in your chart. So just remember that. So if you're like, oh, Taurus, I have a Taurus Venus, or Taurus Venus or a Libra Venus, they're both ruled by Venus. It's really good placement. It really complements it, right? So if you see your chart and you're like, oh, Gemini Mercury or a Cancer Moon, Leo Suns, these things that kind of exalt in these placements because they're ruled by those planets. Moving along, do you have anything that you want to add for Gemini and Libra?
For Libra or Gemini, no. I think that you covered it perfectly.
I'm like, I have a lot of experience with air signs. I know I talk about my Gemini daughter with her Scorpio sun, but she's very fun. She's very light, childlike. But then she's also very, very different moon placements. Scorpio. There's a darkness there. All right, now I'm going to dive into our fixed air sign, Aquarius. Aquarius, to me personally, is one of the most fascinating air signs out there. I feel like it's also I was researching some things a while back. It's there are the least amount of Aquariuses than any other sign. So apparently,
Interesting.
people aren't making babies. I think it's like what, June, May. Okay.
Wow.
There's not a lot of Aquariuses. They're the least amount of zodiac sign on the planet.
Weird. Maybe everyone's outside in May.
I know. They're like, you're coming out of the spring, it's like starting to get warm. Yeah. It's not cuffing season, that's for sure. So Aquariuses, they're fixed. They're pretty. Once they've made up their mind, there's not a lot of room for budging. They like things the way that they've always known them. I would say out of the air signs, it's the least flowy. Gemini and Libra, we're flowing, we're chilling. Aquarius is not as flowy. They're still free. I don't want to get that mixed up. They are still very free. When I see a car driving on the freeway and it has like all the stickers that are like, there's like a rainbow and an alien and a whatever, and they're all over the back of their car, I instantly go, I bet they're an Aquarius. They're like expressive, freedom of expression. Yeah, they're like innovators. They really are. They're like free thinkers. They think outside of the box. I think they are the coldest of the air signs. You know, they kind of, they're
that,
just closed off. Also, Aquarius is one of those signs. I normally don't recommend like dating the same sign because it's like, I don't know, there's a lot. But Aquarius is one of those signs that I'm like, I would recommend an Aquarius and Aquarius because they're both so free and they both need their independence so equally. And friendship is kind of like their area. And they have like, I feel like this really good friendship. So I feel like Aquarius and an Aquarius, depending on other aspects of your chart, of course, are one of those signs that really can date and be a very successful relationship together, just based off their sun sign.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So they are, they're rebellious. I have, my chart ruler is Aquarius. And I have been the weird tattooed girl with weird hair and weird piercings in this corporate American job for the past 20 years. Done commercial real estate. I'm always the weird one. I'm always the one that they're like, wait, you've managed this building? Like, this is a lot of money. Like, are you sure you're up? And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm mentally here, okay? My appearance may say otherwise, but I promise I got this. So I know I really relate to that part of my chart because I do feel like I've always pushed and I've always, you know, like made people uncomfortable with my decisions. Like, you know, Aquarius is one of those, and this is kind of where one of my rebellions come in. My boss one time was like, we have investors coming into town. Elle, do not dye your hair. Do not get a face tattoo. Like, please just show up professional.
Cool. Wow.
I got my nose pierced. She didn't say anything about a piercing. She was like, what the fuck? I'm like, you said don't color my hair and don't get a tattoo. There was nothing about a face piercing mentioned. So I thought I was safe. And she loved me, thank God, because she probably would have fired me. She was like, go to your office and stay in there, please. You told me not to do something. It's my chart ruler. There's this heavy influence of Aquarius in my chart. Like, I'm not gonna disobey you, but I'm gonna like make you uncomfortable. Like, I'm gonna probably piss you off because I want you to understand, like, you're gonna have to get over this shit. Tattoos in the corporate world are fine. That's all very Aquarius energy, right? Innovating, pushing people, thinking outside of the box, get over your traditional ways, you know, all of that. So that's kind of like Aquarius energy. I always say they're big thinkers, but they also, sorry, I'm like reading my notes here. They think bigger than what I feel like, bigger than what the immediate like issues that are going on. Like, they think in a way long term. They're kind of like the humanitarians of the zodiac. Like, this village might be suffering with lack of water, lack of food, but instead of just taking them food, they were like, how do we give them resources that this, like, we don't have to keep bringing it to them. They can make it themselves or whatever. That's what I mean. Like, they think long term. They just kind of think differently. Like, they're not like, I don't know. To me, they're one of the more difficult signs to understand because they are so different.
Yeah.
So
I always call Aquarians or aliens. Like,
just I'm telling you, I see an alien sticker on the back of someone's car. I'm like, Aquarius.
Yeah.
There's a girl, she owns Blank Canvas Salon. Have you ever seen, well, you're not in Ogden. It's like graffiti, it's colorful. It screams Aquarius. And I'm dying to know her birth chart. Because she's a Virgo. I like almost fell out of my seat when I found out she was a Virgo. But I was like, and her hair is green and she wears these chunky boots. I'm like, you have the most Aquarius energy. And I will eventually get her chart because I have a friend that works there. She's like, we're going to do birth charts. And I'm like, I'm dying to know her birth chart. Yeah. She owns a business. She's obviously got that Virgo thing, right? but her appearance, I would say her rising has to be an Aquarius. Has to be.
Yeah,
She
she's
comes off.
definitely got some in there for sure.
Yeah.
Virgos
So
don't dress like that.
no, when she said Virgo, I was just like, are you sure? I think your parents lied to you. Maybe not, but you don't give me like Virgo energy at all.
Yeah,
So,
no.
and then again, they're, like I said, doing humanitarian work. That's kind of one of my favorite things about Aquarius is that they are cold, but they're giving. Like they make things happen. They want to see change in the world, and I really admire that. Like I think that's such a cool thing to have. So if you're an Aquarius and you're out there changing the world, kudos to you. I admire you. I'm just having kids and staying in the house. So lame. Now I'm going to talk about some of the placements of Aquarius in your chart. Aquarius Sun, pretty much everything that I just described. Aquarius Moons. This is one. I have a daughter that's an Aquarius Moon, and I know like 5 people with an Aquarius Moon, and they are all very much the same in how they react to things emotionally. They are like sky is falling, and I've been doing research, and I try to like figure out what is it, and a lot of them are earth signs. One of them's an air sign. She probably does the best with the Aquarius moon, but still reacts. Like if she's upset about something, there is no rhyme or reason to the way she's acting. She's just like the house is messy, just burn the house down. Let's just burn it down. I'm over it. I'm done with it. Like let's like that kind of reaction. My daughter's
So dramatic.
So dramatic. My daughter is a Taurus, and
Wow.
you know, you'd think she'd be very level, but no, she reacts so quickly and so dramatic, and not even like it's not even rational. There's no rationality to the way she reacts. My father-in-law, very similar. Virgo sun, Aquarius moon, reactive. Comes back later and is like, I maybe didn't react to this the best way. So does my daughter, so does the other people. It's just one of those placements that I feel like unless you're really evolved, an Aquarian moon doesn't like to feel. Doesn't like to feel the emotions, doesn't like and can't handle it. It's just too much unless you've evolved out of that. If you've evolved out of that and you have an Aquarius moon, kudos to you, because like I said, I know like 5 or 6 people, all different sun signs and different Mars, which is how you react, and they are causes this dramatic scene almost. Like you're making a spectacle of yourself right now, Kylie. Calm down. Like, I need you to calm down. Like, what, you don't like these cookies? Okay, we'll go get another cookie. It's like, and she's been like that since she was a baby, so I don't know if there's anything that I could have done. Yes. So I would say that if you have an Aquarius moon, really try to gather your thoughts, and before something really emotional happens, just try to like, woosah. Maybe just breathe. That was first step. Just breathe. And if you've already got that down, good for you. But in my experience, it is a very challenging area to have, or a very challenging sign to have in your moon. Mercury, Aquarius, probably very direct. You're probably very, you have this, I would say, maturity to you. They talk very mature. They're very like calm. It's very level. That's a good area to have. Aquarius in other areas, let's see here, hold on. It's ruled by Uranus. So if you have an Aquarius in Uranus, you're probably very rebellious because, that's just one of those planets that governs like rebellion, just different things. So if you have that in your chart, that's a good aspect to have. I would say Venus, Aquarius Venus, probably fun and light in relationships with but it needs to have meaning. It has to have some depth there. Libra and Gemini, less about depth. Aquarius, there's a little deeper there. They're, I would say, the deepest of the air signs. They're fixed, and they have the more grounding energy than the other two. The other two were just like, whatever. We're floating around. We're just air. We're just, a little breeze coming by. Where are we going? We don't know. We don't really care. Aquarius isn't so much like that, from my experience. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm a Mercury Aquarius,
Oh,
and
nice.
and also a Mars Aquarius.
I like that.
Yeah, pretty
So,
direct.
yes, that's, I mean, like I said, there's not a lot of fluff with the Aquarius. Like Gemini and Libra were just, but Aquarius is more, they're more to the point, more direct. Taking action is something I'd say you're probably pretty good at. Like if you had a Libra Mars, probably a little more of a procrastinator, whereas an Aquarius Mars is more to like get up and do something, especially something with a purpose. If there's a purpose behind it, that kind of ignites your fire. That kind of like gets you going. That makes you excited. So that's a really good, I would say, a good placement to have to get things going, to be a starter, to be passionate about things. In relationships, so Venus, Aquarius in relationships, friendship is huge for you. Having a friend is more important really than having this like lovey-dovey relationship, which kind of plays off of your Capricorn too, because Capricorn also isn't like it's hard for you. It may be there, you may do it, but it's hard. It's hard to be super PDA and like, I love him so much. It's just not really part of your makeup there.
Yeah. very,
So
very
like, stop
tiny.
calling me out based on my birth chart. This isn't okay.
I was like, I feel so seen right now. I've not had enough.
But yeah. So the houses, just to kind of go into them really quick, the air sign houses are the 3rd, 7th, and 11th. Third house is Gemini. So if you have a lot of planets in that third house, you kind of have this Gemini energy, communication. This is also the house of siblings, really close to your, sorry, I'm like rocking a baby and talking. This is the area of where siblings come into play. You have siblings. There's like really close relationships with them. Technology, you're probably really good at technology. So look at what you have in your third house. Your 7th house, if you have a lot of planets in there, relationships, look at what planets are in that 7th house. Whether it's your sun, that's like your whole life is for relationships, or if it's your moon, it's how you handle the direction of where your emotions go. And look at the 7th house, like kind of Libra qualities. And then the 11th house is all about friendships and community. So my Gemini daughter has her sun in the 11th house, and I promise you there is nothing more important to her than her friends. Same with my Sagittarius sun, 11th house sun placement. And they're young. I mean, this isn't like they're teenagers. Of course, their friends are their most important things. One of them is 6, and his friends mean everything. I asked him if he wanted to be homeschooled because we're homeschooling the babies, and he was like, no, I won't be able to see my friends. That sounds awful. Like, yeah, but you get me all day. Doesn't that sound delightful? No.
He's like, that's the only point of school.
The same with my Gemini.
That's hilarious, actually.
Yeah, she was not interested. So there's that 11th house, that friendship thing. So if you have your sun, moon, just kind of look at what planets you have in the 11th house and see where it shines for like being different and innovative and friendships. So that was mostly all that I had for all the things. If anyone has any questions, or Julie, do you want to add anything?
Mostly we were going to talk a little bit at the end about what to do if you have like an imbalance in your chart, like if you have too much air or not enough air in your chart. We come back to the missing elements from Deborah Silverman book. But just like simple exercises to like wake up in the morning and being like, okay, I have to make a presentation today. I'd love to channel some air sign energy, for like communication and intelligence and just like presenting yourself to your best things. So there's a couple of different little exercises that you can do to just like reconnect with that energy. And it takes a minute to like really, if it's not something that you're comfortable with, like if air is not like a very like vital, like big part of your sign, it takes a little while to like get used to it and channel that. But one of the meditations that we can do is just a short answer to the question of how to tame your mind and cultivate air by using your breath to fill each cell in the body with clean air, knowing that each breath of air has escalated from another, helps us to remind how to connect and where we are with each other. Find time each hour to return to the rhythmic pattern of breath by taking in a few breaths, which helps you return into the present.
I love that.
Right. I know. I'm like, okay.
Fill
That
your
sounds.
lungs with air.
And then another one is connecting your mind to your heart. Avoid using your mind and your intellect to hide from your vulnerability and tender parts. Guilty. You might have to start including emotions as you journal each day. Begin your journal with I feel and then fill in the blanks. Speak from your heart. This is often a practice of courageous conversation. So, starting with your own voice and talking to yourself. So, literally coming from a heart centered space is one of those reconnecting moments because we're Aquarians and Geminis and Libras. Like, that's a lot going on up here, but like reconnecting that back into your heart centered space, like, really helps like balance those out.
That's definitely a thing because I find myself so many times with especially giving advice to my friends. I'm such a logical standpoint that I'm like, think about it like this and here's the solution, and really they're just feeling, like, let them feel, and that's okay. I've really had to learn to let people feel and not try to get to the solution of the problem. That's such a air quality thing to just not let people feel.
It is.
So.
Yeah, that's the one I'm like working on constantly.
Libra moon. Well, and I do a lot of shadow work and I do a lot of work on myself. And that's really the only time that I allow myself to heal. And I don't know where I got into this mindset that that's the only time that I really want to feel things. So as I've gotten older, I have started to like really sit with things and feel them. And it doesn't come naturally for me. It doesn't at first, especially, it's not like, oh, this is a good feeling. They're like, oh, this is so uncomfortable. But it's good to be able to connect with people on an emotional level instead of just like such an intellectual level, you know?
Yeah.
And I lacked that my entire life. So I'm working on creating relationships with emotion versus intellect.
Yes. Seems like an important life lesson.
It's been challenging at times, but I'm doing better. I have a lot of Cancer friends that are helping me with that.
Same. Yeah, same.
So it's really nice to have.
I think
those in your life.
If anyone has any questions, y'all can start typing those out now, and then we can start talking about it. We've got a couple of comments in here.
Ooh, Aries moon.
Wow.
I can imagine having my daughter has an Aquarius sun, Aries moon. She'll scorch the whole planet with her reactions. Yes. An Aries moon can be very terrifying. I would say channeling that energy with action-oriented activities. Like when they're having a breakdown, for what I would suggest with an Aries moon is like, okay, let's go play a game. Or let's channel this energy with something that's going to like high energy, that's going to, you know, take that emotion out of whatever they're feeling at the moment. Right. And having an Aquarius sun, maybe it's a really fun painting project. Like you're splashing paint aggressively against the wall or something. That's something that, you know, I feel like an Aquarius sun, Aries moon would enjoy. So yeah, I could Aries moon, man. 5 air placements.
5 airplane. Wow. That's amazing though. Yeah, I mean that's actually perfect because like we're literally building this school and your voice is so important, and I also appreciate that too because I know that you have a lot of Cancer in your chart, so it's like really comes out and connects, and I love that.
So you have she has a Cancer sun, right?
Cancer sun, yeah.
Yeah. So that's fun. That's good to have a lot of air when you have water because it really helps with the flow. This is from Shannon. My true north node is Pisces in the 3rd house. What was the meaning of the houses you explained earlier? So the 3rd house is going to be communication, and it's also going to be siblings, technology. So your north node in Pisces is kind of one of those things like what you're destined for in this life, right? You're coming out of Virgo, you're transcending from your south node to your north node. So you're trying to be less organized and more feeling. That's what I would say with the north node. And then having more feeling and more, because Pisces is like mystical, feeling, mystical. They're part of like the great divine. They're one of the most unique signs. In the third house is kind of one of those things telling you maybe you should communicate that to the world. Maybe there's people out there that need to hear you're transforming from this person into this like Pisces being, this more spiritual. It's okay to be different. It's okay to feel like a lot of Pisces don't feel like they belong here. They feel like just visitors of Earth. Now, that kind of sounds a little off. Maybe you can relate to that. But I would say if you have that in your third house, that you need to communicate it, you need to express it, because there's probably somebody out there that really needs to hear that. Or they, just your words of what you've gone through could really help them. That would be my advice on that.
That's really
Sorry,
beautiful.
I'm also feeding a newborn.
The multitasking in women, I mean, always impressive. Always
It
impressive.
is a good time over here.
I hope hopefully those answered the questions that you guys have. If there's any more questions, we can keep it open for just a few more minutes. But I think all in all, like I think we covered you did an amazing job. Thank you for like really going through and explaining each one of the signs in there, and gave us a really nice overview for the air.
Yes.
And then next week we have water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, next week we have water, which will be amazing. And then also we forgot to say at the beginning, May 20th, we have a fundraising yard sale, which will actually be at Shannon's house. So if you have any donations, we're raising money. We're trying to build our brick and mortar building, plus all the platforms, and all of us are volunteers, and we prefer it that way. So all this money goes directly towards the school. And if you have anything to donate, let us know. What else?
I will not be here on the 20th. I will be in Oklahoma at my son's graduation.
Oh, well, that'll be fun too. You'll be there in spirit.
Yeah.
Be there in spirit.
I'll send good vibes.
Here's one more. Let's see. 7th house.
All right, so Mars in Cancer, Jupiter in Gemini, and Chiron in Cancer are all in the 7th house. What is the meaning of the 7th house? Yeah, nice little stellium. 7th house is about relationships and others. So I would look at Mars Cancer in the 7th house is kind of an indication of one of the things that's best for you on how you take action with things, especially in relationships, is a kind, mothering kind of energy. Like when you try to react in a caring, or the way that you would react would be kind of a nurturing, caring kind of way. Because that 7th house is kind of how you treat relationships, and Cancer is a nurturer, takes care of things, handles things, shows up with all the snacks at the parties, or or at the events, so that making sure that no one's hungry. There's just this nurturing part to you. Chiron in the 7th house and Cancer, I mean, that's a healing comment. So it's in a place of like healing relationships. You may go through a lot of really bad relationships to heal this internal wound that helps you heal, and you have to heal through relationships. That's kind of what that indicates. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah. Also, Google a 7th house stellium, because that gives you some more information. A stellium, and when you have 3 things in one house or one sign, it makes it like a really vital point for you don't want to pay attention to. So when you do your chart, Google 7th house stellium.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I hope this was all helpful. If you have questions, you can always reach out to us. If you're like, hey, I didn't have time, or I just thought of this, just let me know. I'm happy to help. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Elle and Megan, for everything. And we'll see y'all next week.
All right. Bye, guys. Bye.